We are getting so close to the end of 2024, guys. It is actually insane to me. The beginning of November is super important because we have this last bit of action-oriented energy before we start really feeling the retrograde of both Mercury and Mars. What this really means is that we are going to start to feel a little unmotivated and things are going to get a little murky as we enter into December and also ring in the new year. So right now, when you're watching this, we do have a good amount of time to really put our energy and our focus into things that are a little bit hard. What are some things that you know you shouldn't put on the back burner that will really help you getting a head start on now? I'm going to go over a lot of tips to make the most out of this month, so get ready because we are diving into today's video. If this is your first time here, hello, my name is Courtney and this is my monthly Cosmic Energy Download series. I am so happy to have you here. So for the flow of this video, I'm going to be starting off with those celestial highlights. I'm going to be talking about the new moon in Scorpio, the full moon in Taurus, starting Sagittarius season, welcoming Mercury Retrograde, and also having another new moon, but in the sign Sagittarius. Starting us off on November 1st, we have a new moon in Scorpio, which is so magical and so rare. I feel like when we start the first day of the month with a new moon, it really does bring this magic, this manifesting energy to the month itself. Not to mention, at the very end of this month, we have another new moon, but in the sign Sagittarius. So the new moon energy of November is very like seed planting. There's a lot of potential to really plant those seeds now before we start feeling those retrogrades that I talked about. Now, with this opportunity of planting new seeds, being that this new moon is in Scorpio, we can have a sense of heightened intuition and also just heightened emotions. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a little bit of drama going on during this new moon. There is a lot of mystery and dark energy, and things may be revealed to you during this time that may bring out your shadow. It's really important to stay true to who you are, to really harness your inner magic, stand firm in who you are, do the things that you want to do, and have reasons backed towards why you're doing things. You know, people may question you at this time and you'll be like, well, it's because X, Y, and Z. You know, stand firm in your beliefs and your goals. For crystals for this new moon, I have two in mind that I think would be really beneficial. One of them being black moonstone. I am a sucker for black moonstone and Scorpio season and really just Scorpio energy, being that it's a Scorpio new moon and black moonstone is best used during the new moon phase. It really is the most ideal crystal to work with during this new moon. I also feel like working with black obsidian, any kind, you know, it could be snowflake, it could be rainbow, it could be gold sheen, silver sheen, any kind of obsidian would also be really good to work with. If you are feeling that shadow during this time, it will be a stone to gravitate towards to help you kind of go through the motions and accept things about yourself, to have these realizations and to be okay with them, to know that you're on this personal development journey and that you're going to have periods where you need to hug your shadow, you need to have a low vibration to overcome it, to step into higher vibration. Our next celestial event is happening on November 15th, and that is the full moon in Taurus. Also on this day, we have Saturn going direct. Talking about that energy of kind of like doing things and not putting things on the back burner, being that we are about mid-month by this point, I would say this full moon is really a time for that last push before we start feeling the Mercury retrograde energy. So if there are things that you need to do, I think this is a good marker on the full moon in Taurus to do them. Also, the fact that Saturn is now in a direct motion, being that Saturn was in retrograde in Pisces, there was a lot of structure, a lot of us feeling restricted with things that we could or couldn't do. Being that it is going direct now, we will be feeling like things loosening up. We won't feel be feeling so uptight by this point. And not to mention, Taurus is that grounded, energetic, just bull that like really feels into the earth. So I do feel like this day will be pretty peaceful. I also feel like this is a really good full moon to cultivate abundance in your life. Maybe you've been a little restrictive with your finances or with money. This could be a day to kind of splurge a little bit. I feel like that Taurus energy loves luxury. It loves, material objects. Like, it's okay to treat yourself during this full moon. I actually advise that. Some crystals that I recommend for this full moon in Taurus would be garnet. It really does help remove those money blocks. And sometimes our money blocks are very much a mental thing, right? It's this lack mindset. It's this mindset that we don't have enough, that we need to conserve, when really we put out an intention that we are growing, we are attracting. Every dollar I spend comes back to me tenfold. Like, having those kind of money manifesting mantras will really help you in attracting more financial growth or financial abundance in your life. It's very important to have that mindset when you bring garnet into your life. I also feel like another great kind of like money stone to work with during this time would be moss agate. Moss agate meshes very well with Taurus energy. It's also really good for setting intentions. Also, maybe you are thinking about things you need to let go of during this full moon. You are setting intentions in a sense of release work. Have that moss agate with you. Maybe make a list of things that you're ready to let go of and things that you're ready to welcome in, kind of like a trade-off, like a cycle ending, but yet a new cycle beginning. Next up, on November 21st, we enter Sagittarius season. I am actually really excited for Sagittarius season because I personally am trying to embody more Sagittarius energy in my day-to-day life. I was scrolling on TikTok the other day and I saw this creator. Her handle is at Zanetta_Lily, and she shared an astrology insight that I thought was very interesting. She talked about looking at your big six and looking at the axis of that sign. So what is the zodiac sign that sits polar opposite to what your big six is? So I have a lot of Gemini in my chart, and the opposition of Gemini is Sagittarius. And it's kind of like going off the idea of kind of like the law of polarity, having a more well-rounded life experience. You want to have this polarity in kind of like embodying your zodiac sign and the planets that are associated to specific zodiac signs. So I'll give an example. Like I said, I have a lot of Gemini. My Mercury is in Gemini, and I'm like trying to think about how can I communicate more like a Sagittarius, right? Sagittarius energy is very kind of like bold, like they very much speak their mind. They're silly. They're not afraid to like make a fool of themselves. They'll do it for the laugh. And I feel like I want to try to embody more of that in my day to day. So maybe this inspires you to try this out. Just take a look at your big six, look at the opposite sign, and then think, how can I embody that more into my life? Basically, the energy of a Sagittarius season is very much like a yes season. Like, say yes to things. Say yes to going out to dinner with your friends. Say yes to hanging out with your family. Say yes to, whatever it may be. It is very much a yes time. And also, being that we're getting closer to the end of the year, go out with a bang, do some fun things, live a little for Sagittarius season. Some crystals that I recommend for Sagittarius season would definitely be citrine, being like the light of the party, to being like this abundant life force. Citrine really provides that ample energy. So definitely gravitate towards citrine during Sagittarius season. I also feel like working with blue lace agate or a throat chakra crystal would be nice, because we really want to strengthen our throat chakras right before we enter into Mercury Retrograde, which is in Sagittarius. So I feel like working with this energy a little bit before we start that retrograde, working with our throat chakra can really benefit us when Mercury retrograde comes along. Which brings us to our next celestial moment happening on November 25th. We have Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius. So Sagittarius isn't much of a planner, and we know that that Mercury energy is very like type A. So when we're in this retrograde in Sagittarius, things can feel really scattered. We can feel like the flow and our routines are kind of not meshing well. So just have this in mind that things may get a little funky with your day to day. All the typical Mercury retrograde things, technology issues, all that stuff probably will happen once or twice. That's just how it is. I wouldn't be surprised if people canceled out of plans. People were more flaky that you associate with. Don't have a set schedule. Like when you're making appointments, know that there's a chance that they could get canceled or changed. And most importantly, just really take things slow. Again, working with throat chakra crystals, working with grounding crystals, I think would be really beneficial here. Just in general, having those types of stones around you can help with this Mercury retrograde energy that we're going to be feeling pretty much till the end of the year. And our last celestial event is happening on the last day of November, November 30th. Again, remember, we're being hit with another new moon. This is actually called a black moon when we have two new moons in the same calendar month. So this is a new moon in Sagittarius. I know we're really being hit with so much Sagittarius energy right when Sagittarius season starts. So just be prepared for it. I wouldn't be surprised during this new moon in Sagittarius if you are starting to feel the rumblings of that Mars retrograde. Mars retrograde starts in December, but we do feel that post-shadow period a few weeks out. So this new moon is going to feel a lot different than the new moon we felt in Scorpio at the beginning of the month. I think to make the most out of this new moon is to be a little bit spontaneous with the things that you want to cultivate in your life in 2025. Remember, this isn't a time at this point in the month to act now that we are in retrograde energy, but it is time to really ruminate on this person that you want to be in 2025. We can really start planting those seeds right now. We have that extra emphasis of new energy, of two new moons in 1 month is very rare. So really feeling that and cultivating this idea of who you want to be can be really strong and profound right now. I encourage you to plant seeds that are really bold, really shoot for the moon of this person that you see yourself becoming in 2025. The crystal that I would recommend for this new moon in Sagittarius would be spirit quartz. So if you have a spirit quartz, maybe even an aura spirit quartz, those are so magical and just so fun to connect with. They really have this emphasis of chatting with our ancestors, talking with our angels, and helping us manifest things. It helps us really break through to a higher consciousness, and it really is such a powerful manifesting crystal in my opinion. Have your spirit quartz around you when you are being bold and setting those intentions. I love spirit quartz. I have a few of them actually, and I just couldn't think of a more perfect crystal. It really gets me excited. It definitely has that Sag fun energy to it. So definitely make sure you're working with spirit quartz as well. So finishing out this video, I'd love to share with you my current crystal favorite, which is this gold sheen obsidian. I know it doesn't look super gold. It kind of almost looks like it's silver sheen, but it is technically gold sheen obsidian. I actually forgot how powerful this crystal is. It wasn't until I was really going through it with the eclipse energy in October. I was really feeling low. I was feeling super drained. A lot of the things I talked about in my October video happened. I did feel really depleted and I had just such low energy. And I remembered working with gold sheen obsidian. The gold sheen really stimulates your solar plexus. So it brings this feel good energy to your solar plexus. It makes you feel happy. It helps you get over a hump. And obsidian is known for really drawing out those low vibrations. So after about 3 days of really having this by my side, I started to feel like myself again. I definitely needed to just be in my shadow and chill and do nothing. It was a really good crystal to just accompany me while I was like getting out of that funk. But it does have a way of working very quickly with our energy. If you feel like you are kind of in a low vibration, you can't really shake out of it, really any form of obsidian can help you, but I definitely recommend gold sheen obsidian because of that solar plexus work. Yeah, I'd say it wasn't too long until I started to feel like myself again. And, when people talk about, diving into your shadows, sometimes people get nervous or scared. They don't really understand what that means. It really is just like working with yourself and understanding why you may be feeling negatively about yourself, or maybe you're dreading on something that happened, or you're feeling like this pressure that you're putting on yourself. When you kind of take that time to stop and not do a bunch of things that are distracting you from like your problems, when you really face your problems like heads like straight on, you kind of figure out your why. Oh, this is why I'm feeling like this. It's because this is triggering this from past trauma that I had, from maybe you discover things when you were growing up. Oh, that's a correlation here as to why I'm feeling this now. So you kind of do that inner work and you become stronger when you get out of it. So always look at shadow work as an opportunity to better yourself. It's not something negative. It really just is like a self-development tool. I'm going to keep my life updates short and sweet because, to be honest, I don't have too much going on, nothing too crazy. I will say that I am kind of reminiscing on where I was last year at this time. I was getting married in December of last year, so just thinking about, how far I've come this year and all the things that I did this year, as we approach, 2025, we kind of like reflect on our year, and I really had such an amazing year. So I've been thinking about that lately. I finally printed some pictures from my bachelorette. I'm going to make a little photo book out of them. I love doing that. I used to make them all the time when I was younger, and I feel like I kind of wish I kind of like kept up with it, but I still have all the photos. Maybe I'll make some, but that's definitely one I really wanted to make a photo book out of. So I'm going to be making that soon, and just like working on my channel on YouTube and setting some goals for myself for next year. I'm definitely going to be taking these new moons in November to set new goals for myself for next year. I hope that you feel inspired to do that as well. But that's really it for today's video. I hope that you're super excited for November. I hope that this was really useful for you to kind of plan out the next few months, because we are going to be feeling a little bit funky with the retrogrades. But yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.